let's see if we got it all lined up right? What's up, Tim? Yeah, we got a little bit of a delay. We only had a small power outage for what, um, 4 about 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. So it wasn't too bad, right? I've had much worse. So hopefully we got things lined up this time with the audio starting up. We made a few changes here. How's everybody doing this evening, or whatever time it might be in your part of the world? And if I can see the numbers, but I don't know if y'all before we. Yeah, you can probably. I don't know if I see. I got the mic about right in here, just off frame. So we'll see. You know, Matthew. Actually, I do have stuff lined up, but I don't have a whole home power backup. I actually was gonna do that at one time, and then when I got to be the permits and everything and changing out stuff for the natural gas, and it turned into a whole ordeal. So luckily, hopefully, we don't have power problems too often. So, um, yeah, maybe I can get Tesla to give me one for free, right? Otherwise, I have looked into solar here, but I know they've changed a lot of stuff with the amount of you could sell it back, and with the whole utility thing, and it just I've done some lookups and things, and along with some other friends, I've done some really digging into it, and kind of missed the boat on that one. So like they're kind of grandfathered in, and now it's like you when the for me at least. So oh, there we go. We got somebody from Germany. What's up, Michael? Add on a custom land. Oh, there. Okay, good, Anthony. So one thing I wanted to play with, I was playing with it earlier, so I got kind of part of it done. Is the audio is weird? What do you mean the audio is weird? Is it? Oh, super bassy now? I haven't changed anything. Hmm. Um, that's weird. I wonder if I need to turn off any of the. Let's see what that does. Is I know that makes a difference to it. I know I was making a few changes in the past with it. This is kind of what I was rolling with before. So I did turn off the supposed to even it out, but if that made it any better or made it worse for some people. So um, we'll see how that goes. And make sure we're showing green. Yeah, we're showing green on the stream health. So uh, one thing I do want to change. Sometimes I have the virus scanner throw a fit for. What's up, Sir Good Enough? Sir Good Enough? And we kind of thrown off a few things. I was rushed since I just got power back after several hours. If you're just joining, and change one other thing here. All right. So we'll see what that does. Yeah, we're showing green and everything here, so let me get my screen back so I can see what was going on. And let's see. Hey, what's up, Mike? Oh, I need to do my camera thing. Because the autofocus never works on this thing, right? And it always, especially when you get something close, it drives it absolutely nuts. It drives me nuts. All right. So one thing I was looking at, I was playing with, was the Etekcity plug. It is. Let me pull that web page up on it. It's a cool little plug. At least I thought it was. And let's see. So it has. It's. I don't know if I can get the plug right. There we go. So it looks almost like a S31, and the price was at this point right now. Let me get this off of here. Looks like they're right around $14 at this point right now, and it is showing like a coupon for me as well. But one thing I thought was kind of cool about it was it's got a little night light at the bottom, and it's a little PWM LED, little white LED, and it does have power monitoring. And also one thing it does have is a the analog pin. It actually has the photoresistor for measuring the light. Oh, I tried to relay it on a Sonoff basic. Oh, look, now we got something upside down. The alert box is upside down for some reason. I guess y'all saw that upside down, right? Why is that upside down? I do not know. Yeah, we just blame the power outage, right? So should be able to. Well, I don't know how we can test it. I will mess with that later. So just live with it, right? Otherwise, I'm sitting there and mess with it. It's gonna bother me. So whoever that was, I appreciate it. Um, but let's see if we can get this back here. At least the chat box isn't backwards, right? So it is a 15 amp. They claim 15 amp. It is ETL listed, etc. But the one thing I thought was cool about it was the NightLight and the photoresistor in it for you can measure the amount of light. And I did try and get it with Tasmodo, but I had some calibration issues with it. I know Frank had done a nice little write-up on doing a plug with ESPHome. Before that, I started working with it on ESPHome, and I found a couple things on some other plugs people did, like those Tekken SP201s, and it does have that same chip to it. And so I figured out all the pinouts in it and everything. It's popping. Huh. Maybe I should put it in my monitor. I'm watching the meter on the side. Let's see, now y'all got me wondering now how my internet is after the whole power outage thing. Looks like we're doing good on pings and everything. So, um, I don't know. We'll see how we'll roll with it and see what happens. If the video may have dropped down, if it gets blurry video, that's due to some of the bandwidth stuff. And I'm still showing green on the dashboard here. So, yeah. See, y'all just gonna try and drive me crazy. Why are you popping though? That's weird. I don't have any filters on at all, so it's just straight audio. Well, if it drives us too crazy, I'll put earpiece in and hopefully don't deal with the echo too bad. So let's see. So I do have it going in ESPHome, and let me turn this thing off. Yeah, I may have to mess with that later. And the audio, it's a Blue Yeti mic, and this is the same setup I was using the last time, so I'm not sure what the deal is. And I don't think I've messed with the gain or anything on it, so now you got me wondering, Tim. Let's see. Skipping the audio. This is doing audio. Let's see. I'll monitor it for a little bit and we'll see how it goes. Yeah, for yeah, and the ADC, I was able to do the ADC pin for Rico. I had issues with the calibration on the power monitoring, and sometimes also it would just drop the voltage, which was weird. I don't know if that was a hardware issue. It would just I'd see it being saying 120 volts and it would drop down to like 15 volts and then come right back up. And I'm not sure why it was doing that. So yeah, so I did. I fired it up into ESPHome and see. Look, y'all can even see my little. Let's see where the dashboard. Let's see. The config. I don't know how many ESPHome pros we have here. I know we kind of do a lot of Tasmodo stuff, so let's see if we can make this bigger without going nuts with it and hiding the buttons on us. So I was able to find out a lot of the GPIO pins and the LED pins, the amperage. I started doing some of the calibration. I haven't gotten totally the calibration done, and I haven't done the NightLight, which is a PWM, like just like a little. Um, I don't know if you can see. It's got like a little panel like of a light, and you can see it right here, and it almost looks like those capacitive touch sensors, except it's like a little white light. So yep, the YAML, right? I think some of y'all just want to hear me say YAML. Everybody, says YAML different ways. Or I hear it sometimes pronounced with almost like what sounds like a J, or it's like JAML. Um, I've heard some other YAML. I forgot how the other one. I can't even pronounce it. There was another way I heard it. It was kind of weird, but I guess my way is probably weird as well to many. So, um, so I have it working for the most part, and I can plug something into it right quick. But I didn't get the PWM. And see, I'm not seeing any drop frames either. There was 151 drop frames for some reason, but it hasn't been increasing, and the CPU's only 15%. So I don't know. Well, I'll do a little camel. How I say it? Okay, YAML. Oh, okay, yeah, that's another way to say it. And I can't remember how I was saying it. YAML. Yeah, I was thinking that's how I was saying it. YAML. So um, the other one I needed to do was let's see if we can pull up my Home Assistant right quick. Wow, everything's big. And this is in the way. Where's unused entities at? XAML? What is XAML? Like almost like XML? I just pronounced that one just XML. I don't know how you'd say that one. So where Etec time sensor? I'm looking for the other Etec sensors, and I don't see them for some reason. I don't know if I had them in dev or I don't think I have dev running right now. Let me give dev a second to start up. Yeah, well, it's already up. Should be in here. Unless it should have published. Here it is. Okay. So apparently it's showing in the unused entities on dev, but it's not showing in the production for some reason. So I guess we look at ESPHome. I'm gonna make this screen bigger because I can't see. So they do a PWM light. I'm not familiar with all the PWM lights, but probably just be a single binary light, right? No, binary light's just going to be a single. How you do just any ESPHome pros here? I've never done just one channel light. I've always done like monochromatic light. Oh, baby, there it is. Okay. I've done, my bad. I've always done the cold and warm white. I guess I should think about it being mono is one, right? So let me see what pin that was. And under yeah, this is some of the stuff I was trying to pin this thing out. As you can see, you say mono. Yeah, I guess there's another way of saying mono. I've always said mono. I don't. Yeah, I definitely always butcher everything, right? So the PWM1 was on GPIO 4. Yeah, and oh, one thing I want to show on this plug. Let me unplug it right quick. I thought was this was cool. This is why I wanted to do this plug. You think, well, we got this Sonoff S31. Why we want to do another plug, right? Let me turn off this right quick so I don't get lit up. And we'll go to here. So the one thing is you can see on the case, there's no screws and there's no glue. And this is the little NightLight that's on the bottom. And this is like a little diffuser that pops in here, and that panel goes in. The only thing I had to do with it was, of course, take a little spudger, and you can see it just clips together with 3 clips. So the clips, we still on? I know it kind of paused for a second. So the I was able to pop it apart with the clips, and it doesn't mess up anything. There's no glue on it. And the other cool thing of it is you can, if you look here, we'll zoom in there, and I'll put this. Otherwise, I'll be shaky with it, right? There we go. The cool part about it is you can see they mark TX, RX, GPIO 0, 3.3 volts, and ground all for you. And it is a ESP8285 inside there. So it's really simple. Now the header that goes in there is a little bit smaller than, like, you know, put like the headers like you put in the Sonoff Basics before. But I was able to just, it's almost kind of like if you've ever flashed like a Shelly 2 or something. All I did was take some header pins. Or another good example was that recent model, the video I did of the GoSund switch that had the pins real close together. And you can just put them in there and stick them in there, and they hold together. So you can get this thing flashed over to Tasmodo or ESPHome with no soldering. That was one of the big things to me, was just no soldering. It would really make it perfect if they put screws instead of clips, but at least there's no glue and you can get this thing open. So the cool thing about it is it does have you can see this is the antenna that's on it, the little metal rod that's on it. Like I say, here's the little NightLight that goes on the bottom, and of course the relay. There's the output. It does have power monitoring. It's that HLW8012, and this right here is actually connected to analog 0. And so you can monitor the light output in a room. So if, say, you were using this in a power monitoring situation in a room that wasn't, say, hidden behind, you could also use this to measure the amount of light. Like, say, if you're trying to do, one reason I would use it for is, say, in a room that you want automatic lighting, but then you had a lot of sunlight for some reason during the day. You don't want automatic lighting during the day. So you could use this to determine the amount of light during the day to drive some other automation in Node Red or something like that. So yeah, it's very similar to the S31. And as another thing I did like about it was the ability. It wasn't going to cover another plug up. Of course, this is just a US plug, but I haven't seen them make another one. The Etekcity. I haven't seen them make another plug for other countries yet. So, but I thought it was kind of a cool plug, and been messing around with it and wanted to try to get it going with, like I say, I had the calibration issues with Tasmodo on it, which is fine. I wanted to maybe do something a little different with ESPHome as well. So what's up, Desert Garden? And we'll back out and before I turn the power back on to it, we'll lay this out so we can see the NightLight. And I'll fix the blurry vid on the autofocus since I backed the camera out. So, and we'll fire this guy back up. And it should fire back. No, I didn't put it back in the right plug. Of course, I had that one off. Well, let's move it over. And what I was looking for before the stream, I wanted to find my another thing. If I remember right, the LED is not tied to the. I have to go back and look. I think
There's one LED that's not tied to the relay, but I think the other one is tied to the relay. So, all right, so we'll flip back to, yeah, see there was LED one, yeah, that's what it was. LED one that was and there was like like a goldish looking LED in there, like one of those amber ones. And then it has the HLW8012. And this was just me trying to pin out where the solder points were, where the grounds were, and the CF and the CF1 lines, the A0 lines, etc. When I was trying to pin it out on them without totally tearing the thing apart. So PWM was on 4. So let's see if we can copy this guy over under into ESPHome. Make sure we're on the. If we get a chance to, I'll show you one of the things I've been working on. I showed it before with power monitoring stuff, but working with ESPHome, it's made it a lot further in the last week or so, like a couple weeks. So I don't think we have any. We have sensor, light. And that's sensor as well. The head is doing, yeah. It's probably throwing a fit on me about, yeah, we're not using D1 though. That's why we're going to use pin 4. So we're just going to put it as pin 4. And we'll call it PWM night. And we'll call it Etec. What do we call these other? What do I call these other ones? It's been a while since. Oh, there we go. Plug name, and then I had substitution. I forgot I was doing that. Substitution, plug name, and we'll do NightLight. And we'll see what happens with that guy. All right. Anything else I missed in the chat? Nope. Everybody fell asleep. Hopefully we maybe not popping anymore or anything. And what I'll do after the stream, I'll just let this thing run. And do me a little private fake stream and listen to it on the loop back under the computer and see what happens. Why do you sound like a robot? We're here. I am just a robot, Matheson. You know, it's just all part of the matrix. I see the voltage is weird on there. That's weird. Maybe it's just because it's starting up. The audio's going crazy. Now you got me wondering now. All right, we'll stop. Let's do the NightLight. There we go. Should be able to see it in unused entities over here now. Let's see. That's weird why it's doing the skipping and stuff. I don't know if that's a YouTube issue or it's a blue LED. Because I'm only running like 18, 15% CPU, and it's still showing only 151 drop frames. So it has not dropped a frame since last we talked about it. I don't know what the deal with the audio is, and I'm watching the. I actually have an earpiece in trying to listen to it, but I don't have a full loop back. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's something dealing with YouTube. You know, there was something like that, Matheson, the other day when I actually and I had to reset Streamlabs. Like, it had my audio, like I recorded like a session, and that was for that Sonar Basic video, and it like totally like made my voice really really deep. It was weird. It confused the hell out of me when I was recording it, and when I played it back, and I had to redo the whole session, which I thought was super weird. Yeah, now it makes sense. I wonder if there's a way I can reset the audio without restarting the dang stream. That's the problem. Hmm. What if I should close Streamlabs and start it up again? Hell, let's roll. Let's roll with it. If y'all drop out, make sure and jump back in. I'm gonna close. I'm gonna close Streamlabs and come right back.
Let's see what that does. We'll see if that fixed the stream issues or the mic audio. Cause yeah, let's see what that does. If that makes the audio worse or better, or yeah, it was very weird. I don't know if I still had the video clips. It was super weird when I was like, that don't even sound like me. Oh, okay. So I'll have to make a note somewhere that I need to go test my audio before I fire things up again. I'm at the definitely. I that's a Streamlabs thing, so I haven't had that issue before, and I had it the other day. So yeah, so there you go. Just a weird Southern accent. That's perfect. So back to where we were, and now we're not all confused, right? Sorry about that, guys and gals. If they're thanks. Hopefully, we don't throw everybody off. Yeah, it was super weird. I was like, I can't record this whole thing like this. And all right, here we go. Here's that NightLight. So it was hard to see because I do have my light on. You know, and I almost did it. I almost hollered out at the G word and turned my light off. I'm so much in the habit of doing that. So, where is... I got too many Home Assistants open. Yeah, we just start straight over, right? But see, we didn't get to the good stuff, right? We didn't answer too many questions, and yeah, Tim, you don't hear any accents. Where are you from, Tim? So the NightLight does work. You can see on the little plug. It's actually pretty bright. I could see it being a for like a nightlight in a room, like they were showing. And in case you didn't see, that was this plug here. It was the Etekcity plug, and it does have there's a picture of the NightLight right there, and it does have power monitoring, and it also, and one thing I have not done on ESPHome is the analog. So let's see if we can do the... I gotta make a note. My alert box is somehow mirrored. I'm sure I probably pressed some key when I had the alert box picked, and Near the Gulf. There you go. Well, I'm not too far from the Gulf as well. So, Louisiana here. Um, so, ESPHome. Let's close this one. There has to be something where there's an analog in, right? Let's see, big. And it did get me a, I know the Doc had one, the Stream Deck. I think Frank had one as well. I think Frank got him to get one. And to change some stuff. I haven't done any animations or anything. I don't have any theme type thing. So it's just upside down. Marcus, I appreciate it, Marcus. If I read your name right, I know my alert box is upside down. So I wonder if we can do rotate, right? Transform, rotate 180 degrees. We'll see what that does it. Yeah, I thought about doing that, Tim, with the build my own, but I started looking at a couple videos on it, and I thought it was kind of cool with the little screens in there and the whole thing. I thought about doing like another little keyboard or something on the side, kind of like the, remember, I'll probably show my age here, but the old 10 keys that you could plug in on the side, it was separate on a keyboard. I thought about doing something like that, but just the amount of time with it and stuff, I said, well, I'll just go ahead and buy a Stream Deck. So, so there has to be an analog. Let's just do a search for analog. Have a look at the ADC sensor. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, that's gonna be simple. So we'll just throw it in, and looks like there's a formula with the prints the voltage as seen by the chip. It's always 0 to, yeah, because it's 0 to 1 voltage. Let's just throw the voltage in first and see what happens. I definitely want a better update interval than 60 seconds. So it needs to be in here. It is, of course, a 0, and we'll throw the plug name. A lot of copy and paste. Let's do light sensor. I'll explain that to you in a second, John. Let's do 5 seconds. They do share the same MQTT. So, let's take that note out of there. And we'll save and we'll upload. So, yeah, see, I actually I have 3 or 4 different setups of Home Assistant. There's like a VM, which has I/O. Sometimes I'll have the has I/O containers in there, but typically I always have my prod and development of just the regular containers of Home Assistant. They do share the same MQTT server, so I can see the entities between them. It makes it simple for trying to, if I'm trying to show something in a video real simple, I can isolate stuff down with ease. And also I do run ahead a few versions. Like I think I run the RC version of the dev as well. And I have some things in there, and I just like to test that one out first on the upgrades. So yeah, sometimes I just delete everything out of it, and I really enjoy having a dev thing. I just do whatever. I don't care with it and delete stuff. And if I blow it up, I blow it up. It don't matter to me. So, so the light sensor, we can see. Let's refresh the entities. We should be able to see. I forgot what I called it. Talking with you guys. Light sensor. I just said it actually. Light sensor. Okay. So there's the light sensor. Okay. So it will just show the voltage. So 0.96. Am I on 0.96? I think. So if you do see what we do turn this one on, we should get a higher voltage on the light. Yeah. You can see on here it says point, because that was going to be from, remember the document said from 0 to 1, because that's what the A0 line is on the ESP8266s. It's just 0 to 1 volts. You can feed them 3.3 volts, because a lot of the like breakout boards like the Node MCUs and the Wemos, those all have some voltage dividers, and that brings that down from 3.3 volts down to 1.0 at max for what's the Quentin Q-Berry? Is that who you are? So what else were we gonna do with it? I haven't plugged in anything. I don't have anything plugged into it right now, but I can plug in something to it if I don't end up shocking myself, right? So I just plugged in a little extension cord. Hey, what's up, Quentin? Is that the Quentin with the, I don't know if I get names right, with the, does the LED stuff, or? Ah, okay, cool. Okay. So I have a heat gun camera here. This is what I was looking for before. And you were asking about the version I have. 9.5, what's up? New to the chat. I have 9.5.1. I don't have 9.6 on there. Yeah, I don't think it's too cold. Actually, it wasn't too bad. Actually, when the rain came through and I had no power. Let's see if we can get this on the camera without the glare. Let's see. I think I had this pretty close. So if we can see on the unused entities, but I needed to get some different, I remember when I was doing this, I need to get some different devices that pull a constant, because you can't pull anything that just jumps around like a soldering iron or something like that. You can't, you just got to have something that's constant. So so we've got, this is on, make sure it's on amps. Yeah, we're on amps. So we're on 6.65. Yeah, that's one thing I did want to, I'm on the wrong thing. I want to show y'all that later. It'd be on the Etekcity. Yeah, so I was pretty close on here. But I needed some different, I wanted to put some different values in there. Like, probably get some sort of smaller little fan and a light bulb. You can see I've got 6.54 and I got 6.62. So it's fairly somewhat close. The watts, I don't know if I've calibrated watts yet. Oh, look at that. I'm pretty close on the watts. 533 and 535. So power monitoring does work on it. I'm going to do a little more tweaking with it and putting about, I probably put like 6 or 7 different loads on it. I think as much as I can pull with this one heat gun on high is 9.3 amps. So I definitely do want to do some calibration up to probably about 12 amps with it. So, but the other cool thing I wanted to show you guys, and if there's any gals out there, no discrimination at all intended, is Yeah, and really, some of the times I'm really just looking for see if it's on the kilowatt. For the most part, I've found that kilowatt is pretty close. I've had it for probably 10 years or so, um, and I've calibrated a lot of my different stuff with it. Now, do I have something else to reference to the kilowatt? I'm trying to think if I do. No, not really. I've been going by the kilowatt, but let's see. Um, I don't think I have it right in front of me. Is I want to say I've actually checked it with a 60-watt light bulb, like I remember the old school incandescent ones, and I want to say that was pulling right at 59 watts. So I called that pretty close, but I've only tested it with one light bulb. Have I tested it with something else really to see reference wise? No, I haven't, but haven't had any issues with it. So yeah. Okay. Yeah. See, I need to see something else really good reference. I probably might want to check it out one day and see. I have heard some people having some older kilowatt meters that they have had them drift over time, which I could see that. So I've shown this before, but I wanted to show you the cool part of it. Let me change ports here on ESPHome. Is if you remember in one of my some of my different live streams, I've shown this, and I do have a full-fledged video coming on it, and we had one hardware issue with the 6th channel, and we're getting that resolved, and then so I could actually show that. But I've had this installed, the 2 channel, for a while. And what that is the 2 channel is it's a whole home monitoring, and I had it running with a custom sketch. And if you've seen it in probably some of my videos, you may have seen like the Digi Energy stuff, and it shows like phase 1 and phase 2. But the problem was I was using that with a custom sketch, and a lot of times that does kind of, I guess, make a barrier for some folks because you have to use Arduino IDE and you got to flash it yourself, etc. So luckily, there's a guy that was working with him. He's a guru programmer, and him and Odo were actually building it in natively into ESPHome. So I got the 2 channel working. I'm waiting on the 6 channel to come back in because I had to send it off to him. He had an issue with it, a little minor issue, and should be back this week. And hopefully before I go on vacation, I'll be able to get that out there because I think it's gonna be really cool. So it's pretty simple on setup. It is running off an ESP32. This, like I say, this one's just a 2 channel. And it shows now one thing I did not, and I've had the clamps on for a long time, and actually I have the clamps actually on between where the power comes into the house and goes to the. I just have a 125 amp breaker for the split phase, and so those clamps are in between, so it catches both phases coming into the house, and I didn't realize it, and I didn't think about it, that being in a split phase in the U.S., well, the other phase is 180 degrees from the other. Well, I put both clamps the same way, thinking that the electricity comes in. Well, the chip, when we put it to ESPHome, I found that one of them was running negative wattage. So that's why you see, and I didn't want to take the clamp off, have to cut power and the whole 9 yards, I had to do to turn it from negative to positive, which is no big deal. And there's some calibrations in here, and it's really copy and paste. And I did some adding the 2 together to come up with total watts, total amps, and then also to do the total kilowatt hours. So it's all in ESPHome, and you'll be able to plug in a You'll be able to plug in a ESP chip, plug it in with ESPHome, use it with MQTT, use it with the API, no coding, no Arduino IDE. And the cool part is, like, say, the 6-channel, you'll be able to, say, monitor. You could monitor. What I plan on doing with it is, with the 6-channel, you can see it's this board. This is the 2-channel. The 6-channel is actually this board here, and it just uses the standard like CT clamps. I know you've seen them probably like we did with the the dryer monitoring video, etc. They just clamp over the wire. You've seen the CT clamps and stuff. And they usually just have a 3.5 millimeter like headphone style jack, and you just plug them in. Now if you did cut them off, and I've cut off a lot of mine because I've used them in different projects, you can order them with the quick connect screws. The one advantage you do have with the quick connect screws, you could invert the polarity of them on the CT clamp if you put it on backwards. Now the 6-channel is cool because it also allows. Let's see if we can zoom in a little better here. We can get a bigger picture. It does allow you to. It has a way to stack them, and so you could do like turn a 6-channel into like a 12-channel. So what I plan on doing with it is do the 2 phases coming in. And then I could do 4 other circuits. Like I could do, say, my air conditioner. I don't have an electric dryer, but if I did, I could do another circuit with for my electric dryer, stove, do different automations on different circuits in the house. So, and it's very cool. And I will say, the thing is super accurate. I've been running the 2-channel board for several, probably. Got to be last Christmas or so, I believe, and you can see these values here. It is super accurate. There's a 100 amp clamp that I have, and when I was testing it and calibrate, and thanks for bringing it up, Paul, because I won't forget solar. That's what the 6-channel is for as well. So you could also do your solar monitoring as well with yourself without relying on anything. You can do it straight in ESPHome. I know some different solar controllers don't have like closed APIs and stuff. So if you had one of those, you could just put these clamps on there and call it a day. So, but I will say, and I pick up that heat gun. It's super accurate. When I was calibrating it, I was actually putting like a little 12 or 13 watt usage LED bulb, and just with that 100 amp clamp, I was actually able to measure that 13 watts, which is like that's nothing to 100 amps, and it measured it accurately every time, which is nuts to me. But you can see these should be updating if I refresh the page. Let's see. We'll see what phase we're on here with this heat gun. Yeah, you can see the heat gun's on first phase on the house. So we were running like 600 watts, I believe. And so it should drop back. I forgot what I have as the update period. I think like 10 seconds or something like that. I didn't want it to keep updating all the time. So it's pretty accurate. And you can see, you can build stuff into Grafana and different things. I have you can do kilowatt hours. You see what your usage is, total watts, etc. So pretty cool. I'm excited to get that going and get the 6-channel in and going on that. So, and what I will do on the make sure I don't put that on the wire and just a minute melt my wire. So I will I'll do the calibration on the Etekcity thing, and I'll put that template out there somewhere where, like say on my website or GitHub somewhere for the all the ESPHome stuff on the Etekcity. I don't think I'm gonna do a full video on that because it's just a simple power monitoring plug. You need to calibrate which one, Paul? The two channel thing, the power monitoring board. This one here. Yeah, there it is going to take some calibration because you mix and match your CT clamps you want. So, not everybody's going to have the same CT clamps. You may have a 200 amp clamp, and you may have a 100 amp, and then your other ones, like say I'm going to put, like mine's going to have a 100 amp on two of the channels, and then I'll have say a 50. I have a 50 amp. I'll put that on like say one leg of the air conditioner compressor, and then I'll have probably some other 30 amp clamps that go on like say the 20 amp circuits. If I don't know if they make a 20 amp clamp. I'm not sure. So there's mixing and matching and I know once we get them, different clamps, I'm sure everybody can kind of share their number. And I'm just reading the chat. I just think it could mess with it. Everybody can share their numbers of the CT clamps, and we can get pretty close. And so that's the only calibration is when you do your different CT clamps. No, the states aren't going to get messed up because I have the states. Whenever that one Home Assistant comes up, it actually pulls the states of all the Tasmodo devices, so it'll automatically read all those. And so since they all go to the same exact states, then there's no problem with MQTT. If I turn a light switch off in one and turn it off in another, it works just fine. Yes, they do, but three times the price of the 100. Oh, okay, yeah. I looked at some of the clamps, and I do remember seeing like the 100 seems to be the cheap one, which is weird. So, yeah. So if y'all are, let's see, if y'all curious, I don't know what I have double in here. I don't know if I don't have any lights. I don't actually have any lights in here right now. So that's the only problem. Everything else is going to be, we can look at in ESPHome. It might because of, well, there's this one. I forgot where that bulb is at though. Let's see. These are my outside porch lights, and those are MQTT. Even though it's ESPHome. So watch, we can turn off color, like this color 1. It should show the state in here. See, we just saw it flip off. And we can turn that one on, and we flip back, and then now you just saw that one go off. And then we can turn them on here and turn them back on, and you'll see they're back on in the production copy. So it's just like if you, same thing, in a lot of stuff I do, actually, these bulbs, like for instance these, is in Node Red. I actually have, you can see I do actually, like I don't actually, when I go turn a light on, and for like my NightLight, I call it my NightLights, the sunrise, sunset for the carport, I don't go through Home Assistant to turn that on. If it's MQTT, I'm just going to call that command straight from Node Red to MQTT, so I don't have to go through Home Assistant to turn a light on. And even though they're also the same thing for ESPHome, you'll see the topics a little bit different. And all this is probably is a better way to do this, but when the lights come on, it randomly will pick a number 1 to 8, and it has like 8 different colors picked, and it will turn these lights on in a random colors based on for every evening. Um, you can't script stuff with devices in both. No, and those now I'm not using the see, I've never used the API on both before, so I can't speak of the API. But MQTT with ESPHome, there's no issue with that because actually those two bulbs I just had, that was they are using ESP Home because that's the Aloha's color 1 and color 2, but you can see I am using the API is commented out, and I am using MQTT with those. And just because I do use those in other instances, and I just the way I've developed a lot of my automations is through MQTT. And so, like for instance, I may have like if you watch some of my stuff, I do like a lot of long press things in the house to turn on different lights, and so I just have MQTT messages, and I don't want to send those through Home Assistant, and then Home Assistant have to call MQTT, so I just send it straight to MQTT. So, I guess any other question? Anybody got any burning questions? I know we kind of jumped all around with the, but I do plan on doing one of the 6-channel. There's going to be, I'll warn you now, there's going to be some huge disclaimers because it's messing around in the electrical mains box, which I would recommend. If you don't know what you're doing in there, don't do it. Get an electrician to do it and put those clamps on. Because that's where it's kind of meant for, is to do, and definitely the ones that are using solar, sometimes you can't turn those off unless you can turn the sun off. So I'm not really familiar with all the solar. I'm sure there's some sort of disconnect you can do towards the panels, but we'll leave that up to the pros of the solar. So, any questions? I know we kind of, I wish I would have figured out the, where am I going for vacation? Actually, I will be, so that we'll go ahead and say it here. So the few that have made it this far in the stream, made it to the second part of the stream with the screwed up, bassy robotic audio, going on a cruise actually. So that will be, we've gone on a cruise several times before, and it's only an hour from us to drive to go get on a boat, and so it's perfect, and it's actually a lot of times cheaper than go and stay in somewhere, and plus we get all the food and everything as well. So I'll be going to Mexico, different like Cozumel, Mexico, and so I'll be able to purely disconnect from the digital world. So if you don't hear from me for a week, you'll know what's going on. So and you can just say, oh wait, he did mention that. So yep. I don't know exactly what it's on. The Carnival cruises, so hopefully we'll have haven't heard anything bad lately, so I know there was some different stuff out there, but it's we can catch out of New Orleans pretty easy here, so that'd be pretty cool. Can't wait for that. It's been solar must have a disconnect, inverter turns it off, doesn't it, sine wave, well fine, you can't hide from this. Yeah, that was cool. Like it's been several years since I've gone, and that was I know being in connected is like my thing, but it was very cool to be able to no wallet, no nothing, no ID, just your tag for your room to be able to get in. I guess that is your ID, but no phone, no nothing, and it's just no having to worry about schedules really. So yeah, I don't usually don't. I'm one of those types, Tim, where either I just burn or white. So because I go bike riding every day out, so I'm out in the sun like all the time, and especially several hours every day. Now, not like some of the blue collar types that are out there, but that's just me being, I'm not being that way, I guess. So, stream from the ship, huh? Yeah, a lobster dead. So what other else? How long we been? How long we been rolling? I guess did it pick up halfway? Did it cut us off? I don't know what it did to us. It shows an hour, and this one, I don't think there's no timer on that one. So, one thing I want to show, which I was really impressed with, was the. And someone contacted me, and I didn't even know they had it out there. So I got one. Is the Martin Jerry actually had a 3-way switch. And even though I know there's remember I did the video on the 3-way dimmer. There's no ESP8266 in it. So of course that's an out. I don't want to have to do anything with Tuya. So this was the Martin Jerry 3-way. Now I will say I did try it, of course, and I knew what was going to happen. And it looks like I haven't seen these on Lightning Deal yet. So the price they are right now, it's not bad. Plus they get 10% on there on mine. It may not be. I've seen the coupon codes be different on some people's, but I was really impressed. Now I will say that the Tuya Convert does not work on these, but they're super simple to solder. And you just have to solder RX, TX, and GPIO 0. And you can actually just insert some jumper pins in the plug for ground and 3.3 volts. But keep in mind, I will try to do a short little video on this one because I was super impressed with it. Compared to like the Etekcity and the Moe's switch, there's no rules in it. And if we want to hook it up here, I can show you guys if you want. It'd be cool. You want to hook it up? It does a cool little startup, and there's none of those special rules because it's the 3-way of having to flip the relay back and forth. So what it does, it actually, when it starts up, the base of the switch, it actually turns the relay off and on a couple times, and it figures out which way is on and off upon boot. And so then it knows which way for the sensor. So the template is like super simple. It's almost like, say, like a regular light switch. And it works just like a regular light switch, but it still lets you wire it up in so many different configurations for a 3-way. So it's definitely a cool little switch. And it's, I don't know, you can see my, my conglomerate. Let's turn this guy off before I start moving stuff around. Otherwise, I'll be smoking myself on the chat. Yeah, let me move this junk out the way. I wasn't prepared for this one, but whatever, right? I wasn't prepared to do this at all. So let's bring the Logitech. This is my conglomerate. You're like, what the hell is that? So what this is I'll fix the focus. Yep, it does the Traveler, because you can see there's the two Travelers, the red and the brown, or the two Travelers. And I did, because I wanted to try it in a different configuration, where I know it's hard to tell on my test rig, but I wanted it where the power came in first, went to the first dumb switch, and then went over. I do have it open right now, and it went over to the Martin Jerry switch. And you can see it looks like the regular Martin Jerry ones. and it is a just your standard like Tuya module in here. I did notice it does have a 2 megabyte flash instead of a 1 megabyte flash. So I do have two of them, and you don't need two of them for one circuit. I don't have any. I always just I don't know why they name them this. The four-way, which of course is three-way switches. Four-way, which is three switches in the U.S. Haven't tried that yet. I don't have a circuit with four-way, but I'm assuming it should work. I might pick up a four-way switch because I do get that question from a couple people. So I probably will pick up a four-way switch to try that out on. And but it actually senses the current and it starts when it starts up. So let me move all this junk out the way. And we'll put this in here. And we'll fire that puppy up. All right. And this is my little circuit tester. We can show. Let me grab my lamp. Plug in the lamp. All right. So let's fire this sucker up. That is Bravo plug. So you can see it like it turned. If you saw it when I plugged it in, it turned on and turned off. Yeah, see, it only flickered at once. Let me turn this thing off again. We'll turn it on. And watch it. Let's see what it does again. No, okay, I ain't gonna do it. Sometimes it was doing whenever it would come on. I wonder if it's because it's bulb. I use a different bulb in it, but I noticed what it would do. It would turn it on and off. And it was sensing. You threw an email to you about 2 meg. Yeah, I'll show you. It's got a 2 meg module in it. Let me find the IP address of this guy right quick. Now, of course, the firmware is on Tasmoto is built for. They do have some 4 meg ones on there, but typically all of them are doing 1 meg. So it's not going to really change anything for us. Let's see. It was 10, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can see the. I gotta get on here. You can see the module. There's no having to do the special, like, the relay 1 and the relay 2 and the switch like we've had to do with the Mo's. And there's no special rules to it. And because it takes care of all of it itself. And it does work as a full 3-way switch. So if I can see, bring that back in the frame. So you can see if I do push the toggle, it will turn it on and turns it right back off, and it does show as off and so it keeps up with it without any problem. And it should show you. I'll turn it on, and we'll try to confuse it. We'll cut the power to it. And then turn it back on.
Let's see. It might cycle back and forth for us. Yeah. See, it just did it once. It turns it on and off real quick, and just like it's just sensing. It's trying to see, hey, it is on, and then what I'm thinking what it's doing is on really on and off really off, and so if it sees its flip for some reason, then it will automatically know and flip itself back, because it's like the button. It has the button tied from the base to the actual button on the faceplate, so the base can actually do a button press. You trying to understand the difference? I'll show you the difference here. Let's see. The difference, I can pull one up here. The difference is, this is a Mohs 3-way. What did Martin do before Ed? Oh, yeah, I'm going a little further from you, Ernest. You can go and use the Tuya component in Home Assistant, but as I've found, the state takes a while to update. Of course, you're relying on the internet. If the internet's down or Tuya's down, I haven't seen that or heard that. But you can't do your long press stuff. If you want the LEDs change different colors, so if you want like a red or a blue or red based on the status, or you can drive those LEDs as other status lights. You don't have the ability to do all that stuff you can with throwing Tasmodo on it. Yeah, it basically keeps it all local. And so we try to mimic what the firmware was doing. And so what's cool about it is, this is the one I have up on the screen right now, and I did a video on it way back, this is the Mohs 3-way. And you had to do a special type of rule, and it would flip this on and off, and you had to do a special MQTT inside of Home Assistant, because you had to actually send an event. There's a few little hoops you had to jump around for the Mohs 3-way, and same thing for the Etekcity 3-way. And they do work great, and then it allowed me to use a lot of 3-way switches. So I fully expected that going in with the Martin Jerry 3-way. But come to find out, I had rules ready, I had sensors, and I was trying to figure this thing out, and I was like, and it was just working by itself. And I was like, wait, how is this even working? Until I started actually pinning out some of the sensors. So, yeah, because the way the Mohs one is like, if you actually have to say, you actually have to actually send an event to send it, because it does triggers. You can see it triggers all the rules that we've done. And actually, when you look at it here, you don't look at the on here, because it's just like on a regular dumb 3-way switch. When someone flips the other side, well, now the other side is up even though the light is off. Well, that's kind of the same thing here. What happens on these Mohs 3-way and the Etekcity ones is, even though that might be showing as on, that may not be truly on. All right, Lewis, have a good night. And so this is actually the voltage sensor that senses the draw. So Martin Jerry actually took it one step better and went and did away with having to do all that special programming. They kind of built that into the base of it. So, how hard is it to add Tasmodo to this 3-way switch? The Martin Jerry one, it was, if you can do a little bit of soldering, because they do have Tuya convert blocked on them. Let's see it, 301. I have a picture of. This is actually one of those power strips I did way back. And
I don't have anything in size relation to it, but on this is the same little Tuya module that's in behind this this faceplate here. Let me turn the power off on this guy before I start reaching around on it. And if we can see size relation, this is the back of this Tuya module right here. So that module goes to about right in here. And that's the same module that's right here. So you're seeing the back. You're seeing the back of it, that blue antenna part right here. So if you can solder, and it's real simple, and I've showed it in a couple of them, you just got to take your time. All you have to do is solder TX and RX, and then GPIO 0. You don't have to do 3.3 volts and ground. You can actually plug into the wires that are shown, that are here. If you could just unplug this, you could actually plug straight into the wires right here. And on mine, red was actually ground and black was hot. So if you do one, make sure and check out which way the voltage are. And like I say, I will try to do a little short. It would be short because there's no rules or anything. I'll just show how it automatically turns on, and you don't need any special rules for it. It's super simple. I probably will show how to, because a lot of people do ask. I will show how to add it manually, and also I'll show the set option 19, which is the auto discovery that some people do use with Tasmota. No, I know that I have seen some folks that do that. There's some websites that do I've seen do sort of basics like that, Ernest. If you don't have any soldering skills and you want to use a three-way switch, I highly recommend the Etekcity one. That one, and I'll pull up the video on that one. I'll drop you the link. I did a motion sensor with it, but you don't have to add, and that does require soldering with the motion sensor. But you don't need to, if you don't want to add a motion sensor, you don't need to do any soldering on the Etekcity three-way. And if YouTube will pull up my list, let's see, copy link. Yeah, so there's the, hold on, Federico. What I do, I'll pull that one off there if you want. And I want to say it is the same module. Oh, no, I took pictures. I did take pictures of it. We want to pull it off. I just need to pull up my Google Photos. I should have a picture of this guy here. Yeah, so if you don't want to solder, and there you go. If you don't want to solder and you want a three-way switch, I would definitely, Ernest, go with that Etekcity three-way, because the cool part about it is, and I do show it in the video how you do it, all you have to do is pop the light switch apart. There's no glue or anything like that. And they do have a regular size header, and all you had to do is just put the header in and just have a little pressure on it. It pulls to the side. I think I actually used a Sonoff basic box or something like that in the video. But you don't have to do any soldering, and you can flash it, and I'll show step by step, and you can just put it on there and flash it without having to do any soldering. And it's super simple to do the Etekcity one. So, no, Sinister, I had that issue. Is the I think what someone did when someone's gonna correct me on this, but they did the silk screens on one side. They didn't think about when they flipped it over, and so I think when they had it flipped over and they marked and they even put the colors wrong. So it's actually 3.3 volt is actually ground. So Yeah. So that Ernest, that one would be that would be good for you to do one, and it's really super simple to do on because that's one things why I like that one. And same thing for the Etekcity plug. If you hung around there in the beginning, whenever I had my robotic voice thing messed up, that same plug is also you don't have to solder to flash it as well. You just got to pop it open. So. Um, Let me pull up the dryer current. Could you do a video using like a monitor for? Norman, scroll back. And when you get a chance, when this does repost, when you can do the DVR thing, I think you can do it now. Um, I think I'll drag it out of the bin of shame. What are we talking? Bin of shame, sinister. Oh yeah. Don't always assume. And there's the PSA for the day. Don't always assume the manufacturer labeled the pins on the silk screen correctly or use the right color wire. This ain't like the movies where you cut the blue wire or cut the white wire to defuse the bomb, because it might not be right. Um, Let me while I'm thinking here, and Norman, I will be doing a video soon as I get my board back. A 6 channel, very accurate power monitoring with ESPHome, and you'll be able to monitor 6 circuits, or if you really even want to do more, this board is expandable. Um, and it's on circuitsetup.us. And I don't have any affiliation from them. I don't get any kickback or nothing like that. They just make some. The guy, it's a guy. I know that I've talked with the guy a couple times. He's real cool, and he makes some really cool stuff. So um, definitely check those out. So that will be coming soon. I need to wait for ESPHome to go to the next release as well. But if you're curious, we did talk about it, and actually I showed. Actually, I had the 2 channel running in my home. You can see it running right here, which the AC was just cutting off, so it should drop. I know the compressor kicked off, but the fan just dropped off. But you should be able to see. You can see all this is all. This was my wonderful power outage from what 3:30 to close to 9. I had no power, so it was great. So Frederico was asking about the Tuya module on there. I did take photos. Let me pull up my photos on the other screen so you're not seeing all the kid and baby pictures and stuff. What smart dimmers would you put all in your switch boxes? Looking out for my new place was Tasmodo-fied dimmers. So this is the 6 channel that I had on my desk, and you can see mine's a little different. I got some quick screws, and yeah, we were having to do the mods, but an ESP32 goes on top of it. So, and that's if you're just going to keep the 6 channel. If you did have more, you would stack the other way. You would stack stuff on it. Here is the board, Frederico, for the. Make sure we got that in frame, right? Otherwise, I'll scroll down. It is a TYW E3S. That's correct for Frederico. But it is a 2 meg flash. So it's the same. The only thing I noticed different was the little Tuya module had like a little hole right here. It wasn't totally soldered, sealed on the can part of it. I guess that's the RF shield. So, and yes, Tim, that is correct. I would actually That's my favorite dimmer is um, the Martin Jerry ones. The non Martin Jerry three ways. That is the Martin Jerry dimmer. These right now you can get them in the 2-pack, I believe, and they do a 1-pack as well. And they do. I know in Discord sometimes when I see them go on deal, I will drop them in there. I know sometimes they've been going for, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Um, I've seen them for like $2 for 36 sometimes, and it just depends. Of course, pricing could change all the time. Um, yeah, so they're 2 for 36 sometimes. So let me look on my Discord the last time in the hot deals on the Discord. Yeah, the last time was last Wednesday. They were 36 for 2. Went going lightning deal. So if you're not in the Discord, seems there's just 50k of SRAM, not 6. Okay. Let's see if these commands work from the bot. Is it just commands? Let's see how quick. So there's if you're not on the Discord, you can hit the look in the Discord and definitely turn on notifications for hot deals. A lot of times I will post if I see it or someone else sees it, they'll post something in there about the Martin Jerry dimmers. Now, I have not heard anybody saying the Martin Jerry's. These were the Martin. Did I post them thing? Yeah, the Martin Jerry. Yeah. They do have a 2-pack on them, and there's another dimmer that I know some people don't like the look of them, and it's just basically all a preference. I want to say there's the Asenex dimmer. I've done a video on that one as well. It is this one here. And it's the same dimmer. It's just a different faceplate. Instead of like the rocker in a rocker, they just have the power button and the up and down. And so that's another way to set up your camel to track prices as well. And it's a pretty cool dimmer, and I actually do have. Look, there we go. What's that? How do we pronounce that one? Saroon T. I don't know. It went by too quick for me. Appreciate the sub. So, yeah, you brought up a good question there with the repo. Is I did do a fork of it because of a couple reasons. Do you know when your dimmer fork will be? I have not done the pull request for that. There's a couple things. It is on version 6.5 right now, and I have been keeping it up. There's just a few changes in there, and I did do the entire setup, and there's like the backlog in there. There's some stuff dealing with a couple different scenarios that I had to correct, where like if you turned it on with the faceplate, it wasn't always showing the correct status. And there was another scenario, I can't remember if it would also get out of sync as well. And then there's I tried doing it with the rules with the LED lights, and because there's another pin you got to turn on as well, and it wasn't fast enough for my liking. And so what I'm hoping for is with the new scripting that is coming in Tasmodo, it is in there. You have to compile it differently. I'm hoping to actually correct that issue with the scripting. and that way I can just take those same changes and get them merged into and get rid of this fork of Tasmodo. So yeah, it's definitely not my intention to keep this running at all, because I have to keep, say, updating it or whatnot, and I still will, if as long as I have to, because that's probably 80% of the dimmers that I have in my house. I do have a couple other dimmers of just like regular Tuya module dimmers, and I have those really just for, like I want to keep them in production per se when somebody has questions, or hey, go try something out. I've actually have one in the wall ready to go. So normally most of the stuff that I have, so I do really have a big hodgepodge of stuff in my house from different brands and everything, because everything I've pretty much done videos on I have running. So any other questions we have out there? I didn't see, if I'm forgetting any, definitely pop it in the chat before I have to run. So yeah, one thing I really love about the the 3-button dimmer is because there's no secondary microcontroller. And so I'll give you a certain circumstance that I use it for is actually I have a light overhead in my bench area that's on a ceiling fan. And that, if I turn it on just with the on button, and then I also have the up and down buttons, and that works that light dimming. Well, I also have some Zimmy Smart down lights over my bench area for like when I'm doing live stream or for recording, etc. Well, I didn't always want to have to control those via voice or with a GUI. So actually I have a long press on, turns those down lights on, and then I have long press up and long press down, sends MQTT messages to those same downlights and turns the dimming of those downlights up and down. So it's really kind of like 2 dimmers in one, the way I have it set up. So, all right, Federico, I appreciate you hanging around. Yeah, this encrypted MQTT, I have seen them talking about that in some of the issues and the pull request in Tasmodo itself. I really say, Ernest, I have not looked into it because just I don't have MQTT outside or exposed on my network, so it's just all local. So let's see what else. Before we jet out, let's see. I got too many windows open here. And we'll let that run. I do have, if anybody interested in I still have some Tasmodo stickers if anybody was interested, and I will be trying to do I'll do some other giveaways as well of hardware. We've actually done like some GoSun plugs and stuff. The CT boards. It's gonna be really cool, Sam. Is getting that set up in ESPHome, and I'm really excited to get that one. I'm very anxious to get that one going. That's always been very cool. Was Tasmodo reset back to default once I configured? The devices work for about 1 minute. Francois, I bet you they work 40 seconds. What happens is, and I'll pull this over here so you guys can see that build as I run my mouth. Is what happens is you may have a pin that is held low, and you're assigning that to button 1. And so what happens is Tasmodo is actually thinking that you're holding down the button 1. And so as soon as you get it set up, it's on, it connects, well then that 40-second counter starts, and then it will go into a full factory default mode. And of course, then it'll get back on, and then the template you possibly had is is gone, and so then it won't do. I appreciate that, Sean. I know we had a little rough start with the audio. I definitely will have to make sure we correct that issue. Yeah, I know the 40-second thing. You ought to hold that button for 40 seconds. So, um, the if you haven't seen the stickers, these are let's see. And you're telling myself to stop saying too much, right? So this is the new emblem, and they are actually my daughter cut these out on the cricketer silhouette. So I do have a gray one. So I have a gray one, an orange one, and it's like 3 black ones, it looks like. And what these are just vinyl. They're vinyl transfer stickers. So you'd pull the backing off, and then you could stick the transfer to not a heat transfer for like doing on a shirt, but it's just for like sticking on say a door or some other mat or something like that. So yeah, definitely. If you're curious, Francois, what I do on the Tasmodo like that is if you're not curious, you're curious and you're trying to set the switch, set it as switch 1. You can still use switch 1, and you have to set your switch mode based on if it's a toggle button or whatnot. But when you set it to switch, it won't do the 40-second hold, which is another problem in some cases. If you don't have button 1, then of course you can't do a 40-second hold to factory default if you need to for some reason. So just keep that in mind. So this is open to whoever on the stickers. So how many did I say I have? And I forgot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So probably what I'll do is I'll do 2. I'll do the 2 giveaways on the stickers, and I will do 2 black. And yes, Eric, if you assign a rule straight to I'm probably driving everybody crazy because I'm not hitting the button. Is if you assign a rule to that button or switch, you immediately steal the action from it. And if you want to hit me up on Discord, I can get you a couple rules on the Discord link if you want. So give it a second, it'll pop up. All right, everybody ready? I don't know who's all in here. We'll scroll up and down. Like I say, this is open to whoever. We'll give it a second to build up. And I gotta just scroll down on this. Looks like we have 16 people. I'll scroll slowly. You have a switch to music controls. I'm trying to use one press to control the light, long press for something else. If you've use a rule, it'll work. I did that kind of with that smart light control video on my channel. So double press still controls a relay. Okay, so using it as a button. I wonder if you have to do state 3. I wonder. I'll have to mess with that. So we got 19 people. Like I say, it's open to whoever. I know last time I sent to like some Canada people, and so we'll rock and roll with whoever. Since it's fairly cheap to send stickers. So we got 20 people, and we'll mash the button. Send me that rule that you're using on Discord when you get a chance. You can send it in private message as well. So looks like Darren, beep beep, Darren's in there. Darren, you can go ahead and pick first whether you want the black and gray or the black and orange. And then we'll roll it again for somebody else. And we'll roll it again. And it looks like Eric. There you go, Eric. So Eric has to send me a message on Discord anyway. So Darren gets to pick, and it's up to you guys. If y'all want to figure it out, just different color stickers anyway. So definitely send me a message on Discord. So Very cool. And like I say, I'm trying to do giveaway and some other stuff on the next one, but I'm not sure when that'll be. So I know I'm not trying to do the just always stickers, but I can only ship stickers internationally. I can't. It doesn't make sense to ship other things internationally because it costs more than it is, and I don't want to leave everybody out type deal. So unless anybody has any burning questions, feel free to pop in. And sorry about the rough little audio at the beginning. I don't know why it does that. I'm trying to fix everything to make it be better, and it ends up being worse, right? So, all right, guys. Well, I appreciate it, and hang around for the next video, and y'all take care.